Well, while that's being sorted, I'm having...
We can hear your comments here or see.
You're mouthing it.
Yeah.
We can see your comments.
You can hear now. Sorted. Bang. We're in.
Okay, we're in. Good stuff. Thank you very much. Anyway, I was going to complain about my chair. My chair,
It's been a bit different,
they're
man.
really high. Isn't it? I don't know who's been messing with it. So if I look a bit weird throughout the stream.
That Robbie guy, man, he just comes and messes up the chairs and just leaves, man. I don't know what's going on.
We'd have no chairs without Robbie. So hey. Anyway, guys, first of all, a big thank you to our sponsor, Ultimate Fan. If you've not got Ultimate Fan, go download it. It's, how do you describe it? It's fantasy football meets FIFA. It's card pack openings. I'm going to open a gold pack now. The way it essentially works is, imagine, you know how in fantasy football you normally get a budget and you spend that on players? Well, with this, you're opening packs. Who you get, you pick for the weekend's games. They accumulate you points in the same way fantasy football would, in that kind of way. So anyway, we've got some packs. Obviously, if you've got the bronze pack, that's free. You can play for free. That's the beauty of this. You can play for free and get involved. If you want to pay a little bit of money, you can get the silver and gold packs. Obviously, better chance of getting those better players as well. But anyway, I've got a gold pack here. Let's give it an open. Who have I got? Okay, João Cancelo.
Not bad.
Decent player. Decent player. Gundogan, it's a bit of a Man City pack, this. I'm quite happy with that. We'll get him in midfield. Oh, Gabriel, there we go. Okay, Gabriel, I'm happy with that. You've got to have a bit of Arsenal representation in there, despite our performances of late. So anyway, guys, that is Ultimate Fan. Go play the game, go check out, go download, and get involved with us. Robbie's been absolutely killing it of late. He keeps getting that winners pack. When you win, you get extra. Yeah, so go stop Robbie. That's the plan. Anyway, back to News Daily.
Yeah,
back to the news. Let's do it. Lacazette.
Yeah, what about him?
Well, what do you mean, what about him? You might get a new deal. How are you feeling?
Yeah, if he was going to get a new deal, it should have been done already. Didn't Raul famously tell us that no more players would go into their last 2 years of their contract?
Something like that.
Here we are with 3 players in their last year of their contract.
Yeah.
And we've lost players in the last couple of years to their last year of their contract. So this club just, tells us one thing does another. Does it make sense that you wait until we're in his last year of contract before suggesting you're going to offer him a new one? It doesn't. Has he played much this season? He hasn't. So all of that is just Arteta, trying to, not steady the ship, but trying to keep the media and fans away from the reality of the situation, which is Lacazette's going to leave us for a free at the end of the season, or we sell him in January for about 10 mil.
Yeah, Lacazette's a really funny one because we just recorded the warm up. It's coming out soon, guys. Go check it out tonight. I got a lovely message from Elle asking how my birthday was. It was good, thank you. It was great to be back talking Arsenal. I enjoyed the day off, I have to say. Here we are talking about a player who we forget, is he better than Aubameyang or whatnot? That's a different discussion. We've got a manager who wants to do very specific things, and a striker in Lacazette who probably more than Aubameyang, more than Martinelli when he's played there, more than Nketiah. I agree, not everyone's had a fair shot at it. But Lacazette easily looks the best for what we're trying to do, whatever that is, for this team. Is there not a danger of... is there not a mentality of keep at least what you got that's good? Or do you just think... Well, actually, let me just put that to you.
Keep what you want. Do you think Arteta's philosophy or approach changed in the summer, or do you think this is what he's always wanted to do?
I'll be honest, I think he wants a striker that does what Lacazette does for this team.
So why give Oba the bumper contract? Why not, implement this last year? These are the questions I'll ask. If that's what he wants, why haven't you done it earlier? But
when you're Arteta, you're... everyone knows that I've been quite on Mikel this week, but when you're talking about trying to rebuild Arsenal Football Club, you're trying to balance the long-term goals and who's better for the future, and also who's doing a job now, because at the same time you've got to get results. Aubameyang was getting results, and the minute, I think we all knew, but never really wanted to say it, the minute the goals dry out for Aubameyang, you are kind of clutching at straws for what else there really is. I think he started this season okay, to be fair, and I think the last 3 home games, he's done well. But yeah, in general, we know that Aubameyang's not the Aubameyang of 18-19 and the year before that as well. And we're looking at a player who we know he can be a prolific goal scorer, but he's not the long-term answer for Arsenal.
Yeah.
So we're kind of juggling between two non-long-term answers for goals with one, build-up play for the other. Can you fit them both in the same team? Probably not. Smith Rowe, Martinelli are better on the left. And it is a bit of a conundrum. Like, I do understand why Arteta hasn't quite solved that puzzle yet.
Do I understand it? No. Because...
I love doing this with you.
You know, because listen, me as a fan in 2020, moving into the 2021 season, I already had enough of this whole Laca thing. That's not to say
you had. I remember.
I blame them for anything. That's not to say I dislike them for anything. It's just to say that what I've seen with them two on the pitch together is not good enough, and what I've seen individually from them both, Oba has been good enough. Laca never has been good enough. Now we talk about if Oba's goals dry up. Which goals for a striker is the main thing, we don't have that for Laca because he doesn't have the goals to say if his goals dry up. So essentially, if we look at Laca and say, all right, well, what he brings to the team is essentially not the same, but a similar role to, let's say, Firmino at Liverpool. We don't have Salah and Mane either side to bang goals in.
No, I get that. I do get that point. Like, we almost need one of Lacazette or Aubameyang to be like top goal scorers because we're not convinced we're getting it from around the pitch. Pepe contributes. Saka from the right can contribute. But I get your point. It's not like you can excuse Firmino's lack of... Oh, he got a hat-trick the other weekend. You can excuse the lack of threat in front of goal because it's coming from elsewhere. So I do get that point.
Because even Firmino's faced his share of criticism over the years during the Premier League title win, during the Champions League Cup win. There was a lot of critics out there for Firmino. So imagine he has critics because he's a striker where goals are not his priority, but he's led them or he's been part of leading them to win a Champions League and Premier League. So what gives Lacazette that freedom for us to, just put him in there, ignoring that the last 4 years hasn't exactly worked out with him there?
I'm just having a look at some of Lacazette's numbers. Last season, 13 league goals. The season before that, 10 league goals. The season before that, 13. And the season before that, 14. So must have had 4 full Premier League seasons.
I expect either Emile Smith-Rowe or Saka to get those numbers in 2-3 years. Touch wood,
which is what players of their potential in 2-3 years should get. I agree.
But I mean more so position. Attacking midfield, I'd expect at least one player to have between 10 and 15 goals a season if you're a well-oiled performing side. So that's just an example to show those numbers are not good enough for a striker. Even though Lacazette hasn't had the full backing of Wenger because he used to always get taken off for Giroud. He hasn't had the full backing of Arteta because Oba starts ahead of him. Emery was the only one that really tried to put them two in together and make it work. And I've called Lacazette player of the season, I believe, 2 years ago. I was very much of the belief that we should sell Giroud if Lacazette... if we have to choose out of Lacazette and Giroud, it has to be Giroud to move on. Essentially, I was wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm learning. I've got to learn of, what's being produced. And even with Pepe. Pepe is a good example. I've been critical of Pepe, but not decisive in my criticism because it's only been, and this was in the summer, 2 years,
Yeah.
Now, this year should say it all. Were those 2 years bedding in? Was it the reality? We find that this year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No more excuses. I think 3 years, regardless of manager, regardless of circumstances, 3 years is enough to see something in a player. Yeah. And I have never seen a top striker in Lacazette at Arsenal. I saw one at Lacazette in Lyon, but not at Arsenal. And essentially with Oba, I'm not sure he can go back to that top striker form as well.
I'm sorry. I'm still just looking here. In 175 games for Arsenal, 68 goals, 29. Let's call it 70 and 30, just because it's 68 and it's 29. So we're talking 100 goals and assists in 175 games. For a player that, in my opinion, I think's had a tough ride at Arsenal. I think he came in, he was thrown straight in, and he started well. The offside goal against Stoke, the goal against Leicester, and then we played Liverpool, and Wenger didn't start him. We were on the decline at that point. Yeah. Emery comes in and tries to find a way to get both Lacazette and Aubameyang in the team, and he has his best season.
Yep.
Scoring, assisting. Let me have a look at his numbers for that whole season. yeah, I mean, maybe just shy of 20, which still isn't really good enough for your best season, but still. And I always felt there was always a reason not to play Lacazette, or there was always something. Like when Arteta came in, the first thing he did was make him this false number 9 whose job was to link up play and not really to score. And I've always just felt that there's this unfair image of Lacazette that I don't think this, but that he's just a bit of a lump. Just get him up front and he'll just kind of be a nuisance and he'll hold up the ball and he'll knock it off, whatever. I actually think he's far more mobile, or at least was when we signed him. I think he has quicker feet. I think he's got more, or had more pace than we kind of thought. And the way we treated him, the way managers treated him, I always thought there was a lot more to him. And I always thought he was a much better finisher. I just never knew whether we were creating a lot of chances. But somewhere along the way, I think he's almost maybe become what people perceived him as.
I think so, yeah.
But I always thought there was more. Like I always kind of felt we turned him into, because even now when we say let's play Lacazette, because we're talking about hold-up players, but do we ever try and look for him in behind? Do we ever? There are times where, I mean, I remember Liverpool last season, he got in behind twice and missed both chances. But I just always wondered with him whether he got a fair ride at Arsenal.
No.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad we agree on that.
Look, people think I'm against Lacazette, and this is the knee-jerk. This is just the general nature of people nowadays. I've been a fan of Lacazette. Even today, I'll say I don't blame him for the wrongs and the decline over the last 4 years he's been here, whatever. But the facts are, listen, someone said he was top scorer last season, and that's someone here. Let me just see. Quickly listen. I'll find it in a sec anyway. What are you talking about? Turkish Laca was top goal scorer last season with almost half the game time. Yes, on one hand, that's a fact. And yes, you can use that as an argument to say we should keep him. But on the other hand, if our top goal scorer has 15 goals, that to me, the way I look at that is the team is a problem. I'm not looking at that alone and saying, wow, Lacazette should be our striker because he had 15 goals and no one had more than him.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it and saying, what the hell is going on? Because Lacazette performed how he usually performs.
Yeah.
Average numbers. But everyone else obviously didn't, including Oba.
Yeah.
If we had Oba on 25 last season, Laca's 15, that's a normal season for them too.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been good enough. We've had Oba bang 25 goals. We've had Laca bang 15 in a season. Where have we finished?
Yeah.
It's not good enough.
Yeah.
Their relationship off the pitch hasn't translated to a relationship on the pitch. For me, it's something we should have nipped in the bud in 2020. We failed to do it again in 2021. And we're going to lose a player of some quality in Lacazette for nothing.
Yeah. No, and that 2-year thing, I mean, the fact that it's not been dealt with till now, yeah, not good enough. Guys, I've just noticed as well that I think the ticker is incorrect. I think it's news from yesterday, so yeah, just ignore that. But anyway, listen to us. Anyway, let's move on from the Lacazette stuff, talk about other things that came up in the press conference. Obviously, Arteta was asked about playing with the handbrake on. He was asked about the usual. There's a lot of talk around Lacazette actually, which I thought was interesting. But the big one is Bukayo Saka. Got the quote here. He says he hasn't trained yet, so again we have to assess him today and see how he is. I find that quite concerning. I know Saka wasn't great against Brighton or really against Palace, and in fairness, he's having an iffy season. Yeah. But I also don't think he's playing in a good side. I also don't think he's playing in his best position. How much is that a worry for you going into tomorrow night's game?
We should be beating Villa without Saka.
We should be doing a lot of things.
But again, I didn't predict that.
Yeah.
My thing is, if we go into the game acting as if Saka loss is the be all and end all, that means, off the back end, Arteta has a ready-made excuse. For me, listen, if Saka's injured or he's not injured, number one, we shouldn't be relying upon the young players. And this goes back to that. One of our young players is out injured. Why are we relying upon these young players? Yes, Saka's a big loss, 100%, because look at the team we have. He's one of the stars. He's got a lot of quality. He adds a lot. Obviously, he hasn't had a great start to the season, but he's something. He's something for us, that not only for now, but for the future too. But my question goes back to, if Saka being unavailable for a match swings it so much that we go from being positive about it to feeling, iffy about it, I think that goes to show the club hasn't been doing their job, their business. If Greenwood was out at the weekend fixture for Man United, do you think it's a big thing for them?
But that's what concerns me, because let me read you this quote. So I asked about whether Saka would be available for Friday's game. Arteta says, "I'm not a betting man, and it is down to the doctors and himself to see how he recovers and how he feels when he trains today and tomorrow." Now, this isn't me having a dig at Arteta, it's just more the general situation. Arsenal Football Club should be in a position where 19, or is he 20, teenage Bukayo Saka, who's played for England, has been playing for Arsenal as much as he can, has been a now first team regular for 2 years, where when he picks up an injury where he's been full blasted in the calf, you can just go, listen, like, it's cool. We've got Leicester next week, take it off. Pepe's going to play. That's what really worries me. This sort of like, well, we'll see how he feels, we'll see how he recovers. It's Thursday today. That's when you did this press conference. Like, that's not really good enough. He's not okay today. I don't want to really see him thrust in tomorrow. But that is just a reflection of where Arsenal are, that if we lose Smith Rowe, if we lose Saka, if we lose one of the defenders, I'm not saying there's not adequate cover, but you do feel like the quality might dip quite significantly, or at least any degree of fluidity we have in this team. I keep knocking my mic. But that quote slightly scares me.
Yeah, because I would have much preferred to hear him come out and say, listen, Saka picked up a knock. It wasn't a great challenge, but he's had
Not a great challenge.
Well, if you can call it a challenge.
Exactly.
He had a lot of workload in the summer, and we're just going to give him the weekend off. I think all Arsenal fans would understand it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Instead, you're telling us we need to, check up on him last minute. He hasn't come. If he's not in training yet today, Wednesday, he shouldn't. He's not available for Friday.
Yeah.
Because what are you going to do? Give him 1 day training on Thursday and then play him on Friday? And he's already hadn't had the best of start to the seasons. Maybe this is the time to pull him out, because even international breaks, he plays for England.
That's
it's not like
thing.
He's got that to...
Travelling as well a lot.
Yeah, so I think...
Only time he gets on a plane this season.
Yeah, we're not.
Well, that's, yeah. This quote, again, I'm not trying to pick holes in everything Arteta says, guys. I'm really not. Like, I completely...
Oh, yeah, it's Thursday today. What am I even saying?
Yeah, I know.
So he's not in training today?
Well, no, apparently not.
So what the heck? There's no chance of him playing tomorrow then?
Well, let me get the exact quote. But see how he feels when he trains. Okay, see how he feels when he trains today and tomorrow. Okay, so he is training today. But, they're still not sure today is my main point.
Give the guy a break. Like, we shouldn't be relying upon Smith Rowe. We shouldn't be relying upon Saka, Laconga. Young players like that.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Sorry, so as I said, I'm not here trying to pick holes in everything Arteta says. I completely appreciate these press conferences. They're always, we've seen all managers get a bit sort of spiky in press conferences, because we know what it can be like with the media, and you're trying to do your job and you're getting kind of scrutinised from all angles. But with this quote, well, here's what basically he was asked whether Villa having 48 hours longer to prepare for the match will make a difference. Now, obviously, we played the Monday night, they played on Saturday against Wolves. He replied, "I hope not. I hope we've had enough time and everybody's focused and available. We play at home. We know the type of game we need to play to beat them, and our focus is only that." Now, there's nothing wrong with that answer in terms of he's saying the right things, I suppose. Am I being nitpicky if I just want a little bit more defiance? Like, no, it makes no difference. No, there's no excuses for this team. I know he's kind of said that with we play at home, we know what we've got to do, but sort of, I hope not. I hope we've had enough time, and I hope that everyone's focused and available. It just, I want to see a degree, like an air of like defiance from Arteta, and just be like, no, we're at home, we've got better players, just no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There'll be teams like Man United who have played midweek this week, and we don't have that. That's one thing, and also, we played Brighton after we had an extra over 24 hours to prepare for that game. Went to their place and they walked all over us. We looked the exhausted team. Yeah. So I don't think they should play a part, but does it?
No, it shouldn't. I've never been one. Listen, this modern day era of football, everyone talks about players get tired and this and that.
Yeah.
They was, when I was growing up, they was playing pretty much the same amount of games. I don't understand what's changed, It wasn't Henry and Adams and these are playing 50 games a year.
Has it become more demanding? I mean, our players are now more finely tuned than ever before, and more that their workload is more managed than ever before, and maybe science is just telling us that there's so much they can do and should do.
I guess so, but at the same time, that's science's fault, I guess.
Yeah, like you can in the past you could train and then go have fish and chips. Do you know what I mean?
You could have a match and go to the pub.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it was very different. But what I'm saying is they've seemed to have gone too far over that side. Where even if you're not playing a match, you're going to do an intense session every single day around something.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes, a day off could do the world of good.
Yeah.
Maybe a week, not a week off, but a week of lighter workload could do the world of good, and so on. It just feels like the modern day is game, intensity, game, intensity, press, intensity. Every team is like that now. I feel like the essence of football I loved growing up has gone, and it's become a lot more robotic and science-based and stuff like that. And yes, a lot of the protection is down to that. But don't talk to me about games and protecting them. Talk to me about protecting them in training and in between the games and whatnot. Because like I said, games-wise, in the 90s, early 2000s, when I was watching Arsenal, it was 50 games. Now it's 50 games. What's changed?
Yeah.
The science should aid. It should be aiding players, not being used to say, oh, that workload is a lot, 50 games.
Yeah.
Well, how did that happen? Because they were playing 50 games back in the day, going pub and eating burgers and fried foods and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now you can't play 50 games, or it's a struggle when you're eating lettuce and carrots and all that throughout the week, looking at your carbs and proteins and all of this stuff. It's too much protection, like wrapping it all in cotton wool and whatnot. So for me, they need to look at outside and in between matches, not just the match workload. Yeah,
I hear that. Joshua says, got to let Saka rest. I agree with that. Basilio makes a really good point here, though, and fair play. I didn't consider this. He says maybe Saka is getting the weekend off, but Arteta does not want to help Aston Villa. And he says, which manager tells the media who might play?
Do you
that's
think
a good point.
It's a good point if Saka is Lionel Messi. Yeah, Saka's a very good young player, but do you think Dean Smith is worried about if Saka's starting or not?
I get your point. Yeah.
Let's not let's not try and find an excuse for it and say it might be because not like Dean Smith. Whether we play Saka, Martinelli, Pepe, Emil Smith-Rowe, it's very similar levels of production, especially in recent times.
Yeah.
So what really changes? It's not like we're taking out Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, or someone like that. It's Bukayo Saka, who hasn't started the season greatly, needs a bit of a rest, take him out the limelight a bit. Let's not get into this habit of everything there needs to be an excuse for. At the end of the day, we shouldn't be relying upon young players, full stop.
Yeah, agreed. He was asked about Buendia and whether Arsenal were close to signing him. He said, I never disclosed the players that we were interested in, and I'm not going to do that now. That would be interesting if Buendia puts a couple past us, then everyone... that could be bad. And then I thought we'll end this. We've got about 5 minutes left of the show. It's a shorter one today, guys. But we will be back with, obviously, all the matchday content tomorrow. Good morning, Arsenal, in the morning as well. You've got the warm-up coming out tonight. So, yeah, plenty coming on AFTV as always. But asked about whether Arteta got an explanation as to why James McArthur wasn't sent off on Monday. I don't know if you guys saw Tactical Insight, but Graham, most animated I've ever seen him, he was saying... send the ref down to the Championship. You cannot get away with getting those kind of decisions wrong. And I think on this channel, we've been very fair to blame the players and Arteta for that performance. But we can't ignore that was an awful piece of officiating.
Yeah.
Arteta said, no, we haven't had communications with the referees. Oh, no, sorry. He says, no, we had communication with the referees and the association to try to explain why they didn't intervene in that action. The explanation we had at the start of the season is that they would when there was an obvious error there. They need to take action, and they didn't. These actions determine a football match and the result, and for me, it's unacceptable. We've more than said our bit on Arteta. But he is right there, isn't he? Yeah. Like, if that's a red card, we're winning that game.
Yeah.
And so we as much as we have cost ourselves 3 points, the officials have more than played their part in that.
They didn't do their job on the day.
No, they didn't.
And again, I'm not using this as an excuse because pre the red card, we wasn't good enough. But post decision, obviously, it plays a big part. You play against 10 men, Crystal Palace away. I mean, not away, but they're away. It's going to be a lot more difficult for them to take a step back into the game.
That's it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But why does this keep happening to us? Because they've got the technology, They've got. I mean, I'm frustrated with Arsenal Football Club and the football we're playing and everything. But we should be. If the refs do their jobs, we're probably going into into tomorrow's game going win and we're in the top 4.
Yeah.
You know I don't want to say at what point do you carry on. Because what can we do as fans? We can't do anything. But I do understand Arteta's frustration.
I do, but even at 1-0, 11-11 at home, you should be winning. That's why I don't look at that too much and say, like, it's all on that.
Right, so almost if it'd been like we'd been incorrectly sent off and we were 10-11, then you'd have to say, look, we were costed by officials. But
being 1-0 up, whether it's against 10-man Palace or 11-man Palace with a new manager, a manager that hasn't got a lot of experience, you'd think you're going to get the job done.
Yeah.
But obviously 90-minute comes, it's 2-2, and we all look back at that red card and say, what if?
Yeah, well,
essentially he didn't do his job to see the 1-0 at halftime over the line. But he's also right in saying it should have been a red. I agree. Yeah,
absolutely. Gatto says refs are always against us, and Roscode Sol says straight red. Apparently he ignored VAR. I'm not. Yeah, I'd love to look into that more. Ramak Christian says the officials have cost us lots of points, even last season. It always feels they have an agenda against us. I do think I've never bought into the agenda thing. I've always felt that officials are just poor across the board. And I used the example the other day of arrogance over incompetence. Almost like the technology's there. You could have gone over to the screen.
Yep.
Like you could have gone over and had a look, but you didn't. And that screams arrogance to me, that either someone at Stockley Park's going, no, you nailed it. It's all good. No, it's all good. Or they're telling you, I think you should look at this, and you're going, no, I don't need to. It's all good. So somewhere, you don't know the rules, but that would stagger me even more.
Somewhere something's gone wrong. And it's on your side.
But like massively wrong. And do I believe that there's a massive inquest to find out what? No. So anyway, let's hope the officials do their jobs on Friday. But more importantly, if Arsenal do their jobs. I mean, I've heard people on this channel say, if you're good enough, the officials don't matter.
Yep.
And I think that's absolutely spot on. Anyway, thank you for joining me, Turkish.
No
it's been
worries,
a shorter
James.
one than normal, guys, but we are back tomorrow with loads of content ahead of the Villa game. Warm-up comes out tonight. Box to Box is already out. Go check that out. Just a little line on Box to Box.
Listen, Box to Box was a pleasure again this week. I can't lie, I'm enjoying that show.
One of my favourite shows, man. I really love it.
Luke, Aston Villa fan, big Aston Villa fan. Spoke well of his club and has gone in very confident. I think he predicted a 2 or 3-1 win.
There we go. Didn't Ali predict 2-1 Palace?
Yeah, he did, but he messaged me before the game saying Zaha's out. I think we're done. But after the 2-2, I think he was happy. So.
We shouldn't have exposed him like that. No, but big up to Ali and Luke and everyone who contributes to this channel. Thank you so much, and thank you to you guys for always joining us on these streams. Again, tomorrow it's match day content. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And then if we do our job, we can enjoy the rest of the weekend. So let's see what happens.
100%.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. We will see you tomorrow.
Peace.